Hello ladies and gents and everybody in between, my name is Jeremy.
And I'm Jake.
And today we are going to be talking about the most recent triple A side from Morning Musume. So we're going to start off with number 1, which is TIKI Boom. Let's talk about the outfits.
I have a love-hate relationship with these outfits because on the one hand I like the flowy scarf thing with the blazer, but on the other hand I don't think that the blazers flatter everybody. And interestingly, I'm not talking about the taller or bigger girls. It's some of the skinnier girls look like they are drowning in these white blazer scarf combos. And those big, chunky, lifted boots are nobody's friend. Even Sayumi's legs look chubby.
I actually really liked these costumes a lot. They reminded me of Wagamama, Kinomama, Aino Joke, and Aino Gundan in this kind of weird scarfy blend mix, and I appreciate that because that was the first double A-side single that Sayumi was on her own as a leader. She was the only 6th generation member, and I think it's kind of cool to kind of do a throwback to that. I don't know if Sunku was going for that or if the chemo is coming out of Sunku and getting into me and just causing me to go crazy, but that's kind of what I got from it. What I found most interesting is that the scarves on the girls were divided into black and red, and there were 4 members, 4 of our main singers, Sayumi, Sakura, Riho, and Masaki, who all got the red scarves. And the really wild card member, I think, who got a red scarf was Kanon. And I'm wondering if that means she's going to be a prominent soloist when Sayumi leaves, because I would assume that Mizuki or even Ayumi would have gotten a red scarf since they're kind of the leads along with them. But maybe things are changing.
These lyrics were unforgivably stupid, even by Sunku's standards.
I've kind of given up making sense of any of Sunku's lyrics, so I didn't really pay attention to the English because I don't really want to know what the song is about. The dance in this music video was absolutely ridiculous. There were moments where I thought it was interesting. The Chikibun part was cool. In my opinion, I thought it was really cool. I liked the element, but it stood out like a sore thumb. Really, it was so out of place with the rest of the dance, with the kind of crowd huddling that was going on, and I didn't really understand what that was accomplishing, because this isn't a song like Ayaraba It's Alright, where it's kind of okay for the girls to be like swaying and, you know, doing that weird group thing. It's not an inspirational song, this is a nonsense song. So I don't understand why we had that dance, and it seemed like a choreographer got lazy. Who do you think was like the gold star, fiercest member in this music video? If anybody.
It didn't give me enough time to catch a glimpse of anybody. It was so spastic and chaotic, and the solos were all so processed. Like, nobody stood out because I don't think anyone was able to stand out. Between the way it was filmed, the way it was choreographed, and the way it's written, it just was a hot auto-tune mess.
I really don't feel like anybody particularly stood out in the song, but I feel like in the music video, I was strangely just pulled to Kudo and to Kanon, and I feel like the two of them really slayed this music video to pieces, especially Kudo. She had so many parts where she was just owning the camera and she was working it and she was staring and she was like, you will pay attention to me because I'm important. And I was really taken aback by that because I've noticed Kudo making prominent steps in the music videos lately, and this one, she really owned it more than any of the other girls did. I was really taken aback though by the lack of Ayumi in this music video. I feel like the only times we got to see her were in split-second shots, and by the time she actually made it to the front part of the dance, it was in the last 30 seconds and it was really overshadowed by other members' solo faces, not hers.
What I really noticed in this music video more than previous ones is that everybody's following the Sayumi raven hair look. Like, it's all this natural black hair, and then Ayumi and Mizuki almost stand out in a bad way because they have lightened brown hair.
I guess that makes sense.
And I felt like they were pushed to the side and not featured as much.
Kanon had longer solos than the two of them.
And it just was interesting to me that those two seem to get featured the least, and they're the only two with lighter hair. Maybe it's like a look thing, and they're not Musume look, and so because they're not look, they're not being featured for this music video. I don't know, it was just weird to me.
Next we'll talk about Mikaeri Bijin. Let's talk about the outfits first.
The outfits, yes, good! Okay, I loved these costumes. I thought they were adorable. I thought they were super flattering. They gave good shape to all the girls. Didn't matter their height, their body type. nothing.
The cut of the dress was beautiful.
It was a perfect outfit because when someone who's big and curvy like Kanon looks just as good as tall skinny sticks like Riho or Ayumi, you know it's a good costume because they all had that beautiful hourglass look, even though half these girls do not have hourglass shapes.
It was all in the coloring of the dress. The figure was at the top part, and then they had kind of a neutral color at the bottom.
The dress was beautiful. It flattered them all. The styling for the hair and the shoes and the makeup was just so soft and gorgeous, and if they don't wear this dress at the concert, I will be angry because this was good costume art.
I also really like Sayumi's outfit. I thought she looked gorgeous.
Yeah, all the styling all around was just beautiful for this music video. It was good. Like, no question too. Sometimes even with good costumes, I have a question where I'm like, but what about this? But who decided this? This was beautifully done.
Stellar all the way. The style of this music video, I feel, is very, very different from things we've seen at Morning Musume before. In kind of an AKB meets AAA. I'm not even sure what I was thinking. This music is very AAA. Never mind, I changed my mind. It's very AAA meets AKB because we had this big open room, and the girls, the way that their clothes were colored and the way that they were formed, it looked like there were more of them than there actually are. There were only 9 members in this dance, and it looked like there were more than 9. And then we had an actual story MV on the side. We had this kind of coinciding story where Sayumi is walking out of this building, and it was very different from things that we've seen from Morning Musume.
It was exactly that. It was that they incorporated a story into this music video, and Morning Musume doesn't really do stories so much as they just do, here's the girls singing, here's the girls dancing, here's the girls doing an abstract thing like firing arrows, or you know, working different jobs, or dancing in Belle's provincial village. This very clearly showed, you know, the girls dancing, and then Sayumi was the story element where she was dressed in her, you know, her graduation kimono almost, and writing what I'm assuming were letters to all the girls. That's what I interpret that as, her personal goodbye letters to each of the remaining members, picking herself up and exiting in a symbolic way from the house and from
Morning Musume.
It was very story, and it reminded me of a AAA video like the Summer Festival one.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that, where we have the singers doing their thing, but then we have a story happening as well that's being pantomimed. And
I really appreciated that.
I thought that it made it a much more cohesive music video, especially lately, because since this new trend of techno, you know, electronic dance music thing that Tsunku has fallen into has started, it's pretty much just been dancing music videos with solo singing shots. There hasn't been any story or even Tsunku's trademark abstract busy work.
Nonsense. I also liked how light the music video was. I feel like in comparison, this one seemed very bright, where even with TIKI BUN and even with Shabadaba Do, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I feel like there's something dark about that one. It wasn't very bright or open.
Well, and it's just that. It's because the set was open. There was windows all around the girls. There were doors, and Sayumi was walking along windowed hallways and then outside. So it's exactly that. It's that Tsunku, for the last, I don't know how many singles, has locked the girls inside a soundstage.
Or like in TIKI BUN, where they were like in a hangar for the military.
Like Shabadaba Do. It's all been inside. And even Morning Musume in general, he just tends to put them in a green screen studio. And even when he does put them outside, it feels very contained. There's only one music video I can think of where they were actually outside.
Furusato.
Oh, well, we're going.
That's way back.
That's way back there. So, for the longest time now, Tsunku's just stuck them inside, and it's felt very closed and dark. But this one was very open because it was a very open set with windows outside, and it was lovely.
I liked it.
I really liked the lyrics of this song. All I could say, and I will say it again with Shabadaba Do, is that unprecedented. Never before has Tsunku tailored a song so strongly to the graduating member.
Lyrics included.
Lyrics, video, all of it. Like, for both this and Shabadaba Do, these lyrics are literally about Shishigi Shayumi,
It's not about anybody else. It's literally about her.
It may never name her, and sure, they could use it again for other girls graduating, but
I could see this being a graduation song forever.
Kind of like that one song, the Senpai song. It's the new, member song. This is the new goodbye song.
I feel like this is Never Forget, because they play Never Forget instrumentals in every graduation.
So it's a very beautiful, very touching, soft ballad, and these lyrics are just perfectly tailored to Sayumi and her graduation.
And the closest thing we've ever gotten to anything like that is Renee Hunter, but that was purely in music video. The song had nothing to do with Gaki.
Nothing to do with Gaki.
The MV in this particular single had everything to do with Sayumi, and the lyrics had everything to do with Sayumi. Even if they masked it with other things and other words, it was about Sayumi.
Right, like, you know, that Renai Hunter is a good comparison because in Renai Hunter, the song is obviously not about Gaki, but when you watch the music video, she's so prominently featured, and then at the end with the morning musume on her face and all that, it's very, you know, it's very clearly, oh, this is her graduation thing, but the song, if you were just listening to the song, it's a fierce song, but it's not about Gaki. But then this, they're showing Sayumi literally
leaving a building.
Leaving the building with her letters left for the 9 girls who are left. Like, it's so literally a graduation song. The lyrics are about the senior who's leaving, how she's beauty, she's grace, she's Miss Nihongo States. Miss Nippon. Miss Nippon
We
State.
really struggled through that one.
Nippon.
Really struggled. Really
Gambare gambare.
Kawaii
Sayumi. Actually, it's kind of funny because we've been joking about that Sunku was going to do this whole gambare gambare kawaii Sayumi thing, and he literally
did that.
Did gambare gambare kawaii Sayumi sayonara. Like, it's literally all Sayumi all the time. Crown it, eat it.
I really liked this song just as an idea. Right now there's only the promotion video and only half of it on the Hello Station page. I think it's the Hello Station page. And there's only a little bit of it, but I love what I've seen so far. It's got this really cool like 50s, 60s vibe to it, like a diner song. It's fun.
It is literally gambare gambare kawaii Sayumi. She is dressed in the most delicious cupcake of a costume. She looks gorgeous. God, her legs look like miles long legs for days, weeks, months, years.
Sayumi always has had banging legs.
And damn, for point of reference, that is what Sayumi's legs should look like, not those stubby little chubby things in the first A-side in that Scarfy number with those big old boots. This is what Sayumi's legs are capable of.
Just to show off those gams.
Those gams could win awards. Yes.
Yes, God.
Yes, God.
The outfit, for some reason, really reminded me of Kareto Oshini ga omisete. I got there. Words, Japanese.
It's actually funny that you should mention that because the vibe of Shabadabadu in general does remind me very much of that.
It's very much of that one.
Very similar because I think Sunku realized that is something that works.
For her.
It's a good style for Sayumi musically, costumey, music video wise.
It kind of like wrapped into that, and that was her first big like breakout single. I feel like Sayumi didn't really have a prominent role in Morning Musume until that particular single, and so I think that it was cool to do a throwback to that. Conversely, her other dresses, she wore that big beautiful thing that had the legs cut out in the front and then the big frilly part in the back. That reminded me of her fancy dress in Orata Otoko no Lullaby game, and to me that's very cute and very symbolic and sweet because Sayumi was closer to Eddie than she was to Reina. They were like only close on stage, but her and Eddie were like very close friends and talked about everything, and so I think it's cute to tie that in to Eddie's final single in Morning Musume and to kind of like bring that together. It wasn't an exact replica, but it was similar and it was cute, and I liked the comparison to that, if that's what Sunku was going for. Again, I could be just really reaching, but that's what I got from it.
One other thing about this music video was that while it did remind me of other A-side to I-Chan's Graduation, long Japanese title, it did have a slight Kiari Pamyu Pamyu flair to it.
There was something very Kiari-ish about it.
It was very Kiari without the
weird
animation or the creepy, kawaii, normal Kiari. Like if there was anybody in J-pop who was what Kiari could have been had she not gone down the weird path, I feel like it would be Sayumi. They're like opposite sides of the same coin. Here's the creepy, dirty side with too many eyelashes glued onto it. And here's just the cute side.
Kiari's so fierce.
Kiari's fierce, but she's weird as hell. Her stuff is weird.
The one thing that I did notice about this music video, or at least the portion that is available online, is the small segment where Mizuki showed up out of nowhere in the corner of the screen to like say one random line. It was just like essentially like a doo-wop. That was essentially what she did.
I did notice
and
that.
I thought that was really interesting because Mizuki is the first member of the New Girls to have had a solo, or not a solo, to have had a duet with Sayumi, and a lot of people are speculating that she's going to be taking over the next leadership role. And so I thought that was kind of a cool toss-in to include her into that, and I think it's kind of like a cool way to be like, Sayumi's passing on her torch to the next one, who, conversely, is a pink member as well. They both have pink colors.
However, since we do not have the full MV, you do have to concede that it might be possible that all of the members might have a little moment like
in the last,
that.
like, minute?
or the other sub-leader might.
Maybe Haruna will show up somewhere near the end of it. But for right now, what's available, I think it was cute to have Mizuki be the first member to pop up in there. And if the other girls show up, that's cute as well, but that's just what I noticed right off the get-go. I was like, what? Whoa, Mizuki's there, okay.
Just at the end of the music video, it'll be Sayumi standing there posing, and then all the other girls going like this.
Popping up like the Brady Bunch just all around her.
With their hands, doing jazz hands, exalting Sayumi. These lyrics were, again, like the other A-side, so tailored to Sayumi, like, not even subtly, like...
It wasn't subtle at all.
Like, I'm super cute, even though I don't have great pitch. I always tried my hardest. Standing next to all these young girls could be scary for some, but I keep pushing on. Although I do have to say that I feel like it was a little bit of a bitch slap from Sunku, that he was like, yes, here's your song, Sayumi. The first lyric is about how you have bad pitch.
I mean, he says that all the time.
I know, but it just literally feels like a little bit of a bitch slap, like...
That's Sunku. What I do have to say though is that I think personally this is super sweet that Sayumi had a graduation solo A-side. No other Morning Musume member can say that they had an A-side graduation solo. Our first soloist that we had was Fukuda, who I'd never forget, and then Kei did her rock version cover, which was also a B-side, and then way later on down the road, not even Abe had a B-side or an A-side. I-chan got to have a B-side, great song, but it was a B-side. And then Gaki had a B-side, which was a rehashed version of another song. And then Reina had a B-side that had an MV, but literally none of them had an A-side solo, and none of those songs were really about them. The closest that you could possibly even get to would be Gaki's B-side solo, but again that was a Matsuda Aya song, and it wasn't even really about Aya, it was just about graduating, but that was really the closest that we ever got to like a true song about a member, and this one blows all of that out of the water. Sayumi's solo A-side is literally all about her. It's all Sayumi all the time, and I was living for it.
Kawaii Sayumi.
The last thing that I really loved about this song is the inclusion of bubbles in the music video, because Sayumi's very first ever single was Shabadaba, which included bubbles, and I just loved that we had that given to us, that there were just bubbles all around. At first I hated the title. I hated Shabadabadoo. I thought it was so stupid, and I wish that they would have just gone like Shabadabadoo or Shabon Dama, the less angry version, the cute Sayumi version, the kawaii version. I don't even care. I wish they would have just rehashed the name Shabon Dama and then retitled it with something else.
But maybe that was Sunku's way of subtly referencing
I think he was trying to.
Because Shabadabadoo does sound very similar to Shabandama.
It does, and I think Sunku was going for that, but I wish he would have just retitled Shabandama. But I like that we had bubbles included. Sunku was going for the Shabandama route and somehow ended up with Flintstones references. So, you know, it's cats, whatever. Sunku does his thing, he's on drugs, whatever.
These 3 A-sides, Tiki BUN the least which, but the 2 graduation A-sides are really something special, I think. I've not seen this much care and attention put into a member graduation in a long time. Like, not even for Reina, Ai-chan, Gaki, Abe, like, just there was a lot of tailored love put into this. And as we were kind of discussing earlier, before we filmed the video, this is kind of the last of the Time Lords with Sayumi. She is the last connection to colorful era.
This is the colorful era, dear.
She is the last connection to Platinum Era Musume. She's the last connection to the eras before then. She had the longest tenure, didn't she?
She has the longest tenure and the most singles.
Longest standing Morning Musume member. She's seen most of it.
She's the only member in the current lineup to have danced on stage with Abe Natsumi, Ida Kaori, with them not being in Dream Morning Musume, because some of the other girls have danced with them on stage, but they've been in Dream Morning Musume.
In Morning Musume.
They haven't been like Morning Musume members at the same time, and Sayumi's the only one who got to dance with first, second, third, fourth generation members while they were still Morning. No, not third.
And so her exit literally does mark the end of an era with Momosu in a different way than, you know, even Abe leaving does, I feel like. Because now it truly is a new group. Mm-hmm. It has no connections to those old singles. It's all new girls. That started with Maji Desu Ska, right?
Maji Desu Ska. And even then they've updated all these old singles like Love Machine, like The Peace. So they're not even really retaining what they were. Sayumi's the only thing that really links
I almost wonder if the reason they updated those singles was to try to create a new connection to old Morning Musume, trying to like going back to our roots, to give these new young girls a connection to, you know, the best of Morning Musume, which didn't really work. It was just kind of like awkward covers of songs, kids bop versions of songs that didn't need to be redone in the first place. So Sayumi leaving is a big deal in a weird way, because I mean, Abe leaving was a big deal. Reina leaving, Gaki, Ai-chan, Ida, all the I was trying to say Yosi, but I almost went Yaoza leaving.
Who's Yaoza?
Because I was trying to say
Yuko. You were going for Yuko somewhere.
I don't know. Something was happening there. But it's different. It's a big deal. I think for me, what this signifies is it takes Morning Musume away from being Morning Musume and turning it more into an AKB48 kind of group.
Morning Musume 1-4.
More so than Sunku's name change already did, because you realize now that this is truly a group where the members don't matter as much anymore. That's what this signifies to me, because there's no long-standing members anymore. So it literally is like AKB, where they come, they go, and it really, you don't matter who is in it. There's just people in it. It's an idea that is just perpetuated by bringing in new people constantly.
Like Broadway. Like Broadway,
like a Broadway show, or like Doctor Who, where it just keeps going. Doctor Who is an idea, you just bring in new actors.
I think I had such a hard time calling Morning Musume 1-4 because Sayumi still has all that richness of history, and it's like I can't within good conscience call this Morning Musume 1-4 when it still feels like Morning Musume because of what she brings to the table. And I think now that she's gone, really seeing, well, my Mikaeri Bijin really didn't give enough of like what's to come, because it still featured Sayumi, and there's still kind of that idea of Morning Musume is what it is. It doesn't really make sense saying it, but that's how it feels.
And it is a little strange that, unlike other graduating singles, these ones really just focused on the fact that Sayumi was leaving, not so much on here's what we still have to pick up the slack. Like, Red Eye Hunter is a cool song, but even though it was Gaki's graduation A-side, it still was very much here's some solos from Gaki because you love her.
Some really banging solos from Gaki.
But here's some solos from the girls who are going to be taking the mantle. And I feel like, and I've said that in numerous graduation singles where I'm like, this is their graduation single, why don't they have more solo time, face time, air time? And unlike those ones, I mean, yes, the Meijing whatever one, the kimono song, didn't have any solos from Sayumi whatsoever, but it was pretty much just a giant unison song. And it literally wasn't a, yes, Sayumi's leaving, but listen to these amazing vocals and this fantastic dancing that these girls have. It literally wasn't about them at all. They couldn't have made it any less about the girls who are staying behind. So it's interesting that we're focusing so hard, or that Tsunku is focusing so hard on the fact that Sayumi is leaving.
It's almost like he's just having all of his tears pouring out onto the music video. It's like, I don't even care about these girls.
And it could be a very bittersweet thing for Tsunku as an artist, because, or as the producer.
He's an artist,
as an artist.
Tsunku's an artist.
It could be a tough thing for him as a producer, because it is the end of his Morning Musume. It's a weird thing. I think it marks a very significant shift in Momosu. The days of big bows and glitter hair, cutesy bangs, short blonde weaves, like
buck teeth. Poor Godo. Oh no, I smashed my curl.
The crazy like all that stuff is gone. These girls are very much uniform, similar,
unison, and can all be auto-tuned the same way, as reflected in Tiki Boom, where no solo was distinguishable who was actually singing it.
So I think that's another thing that's something to kind of consider when you're looking at what's happening within the group now.
Yeah, Tsunku's kind of like unifying everyone, as clearly indicated with the last couple singles. Tiki Boon with Mikaeri Bijin, with Toki wo Koe Sore wa Ko, that one. These were all unison songs. We've had other ones that are unison with the B-sides, and Jacob's brother Jesse was mentioning that it reminds him of like the really old days, like Wasurenanai and what was that really bad one? 21 Seki. It's a lot like those old early days where Tsunku was kind of just like, well, I don't really like anybody, so let's just have them all sing together until I find people who I like. And that's when the 4th gen came in and he was like, ah yes, they're good enough. Let's give everyone solos. I like them all now. I've gotten rid of the ones I don't like.
I'm wondering, when Tsunku brings in this new generation of girls, I'm wondering if we're going to have another weird transitionatory period where it's just kind of vague solos and
weird power ballads.
While he's trying
to we could have Furusatu 2.0. They could all just sing unison and Sakura can be the lead singer.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. But it's definitely, we've moved away from Momosu into, MM14, like AKB48.
So thank you guys so much for watching. Please let us know what your thoughts are on all 3 of these A-sides in the comments below, and we would love to read those, and we'll hopefully be able to respond to some of those as well. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys all again next time. Have a great rest of your day. Bye!
Bye!
Shabondama! I really hope Sayumi sings Shabondama. If she does not have a lead song of Shabondama in the graduation, I will be angry.